Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome here if you're new. In this video I'm sharing my new mini poinsettia template, and I think this is a great template to use for any of your holiday decorations. I think it's a quick template that you can cut and just make really quick and add to anything that you'd like, whether it's a wreath or a garland like I am actually adding for mine. You can add it on top of presents, which is my new favorite way of displaying presents. I just like to open really pretty presents, and so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. This is a very easy template. Basically, this is the petal shape overall. There's 5 petals, so it's like a 5-point star, and all that needs to be done is just cut it out. I do have PDFs available, and so even with the PDF it's actually fairly easy to cut. I didn't want something that would be hard to cut with a pair of scissors if you don't have a cutting machine. But if you do have a cutting machine, it's actually very easy to cut out, and then all you need to do is just manipulate it in whatever way, whether you just want to curl the petals or add a sort of fold down the petal, and then gluing it together and then adding some sort of flower center based on whatever your preferences are. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show how I'm making it. So there are 2 ways. For this flower here that has bells in the middle, I actually just curled the edges of the petal. But then you can also just fold it in half and just have that be the way that you want to add dimension to your petals. So I'm going to do one of each, and the first one I'll do is just where you can fold. So there are 2 ways that I can do it. So I have a ruler and a gift card here. This is just a gift card that's probably used up. But you can either just take your petal and then fold it in half like this, and then just crease it down to the center of the flower. So you can just use your nails to sort of give it a nice good crease. Or you could just use something like a bone folder, which is my favorite tool, a bone folder or anything that can give you a nice edge. And then you can get that nice crisp line down the center. I typically just let it go further than the center or that midpoint. But another thing you can do is either just use a gift card or some sort of card and just fold up. That gives you a nice line too, and then that way it kind of reduces some of that time that you use folding it, because you can do this fairly quickly, especially if you don't have long nails. So this probably wouldn't be possible if you like a longer nail than me. But with practice, this actually can go fairly quickly. And so similarly, you can also use a ruler. The reason why I don't like the ruler is because it's longer, so if you have a shorter ruler, that would work pretty well. And then you can just lift up that petal and then give it a good crease. Like that. Now, one reason why you wouldn't just fold this in half is, depending on your paper quality, sometimes as you're bending it, it gives creases in parts of the paper that you may not want. So I just think that, so right there, it kind of creases the paper in a way. It may not be able to be picked up on camera, but sometimes folding like that, I don't particularly like the way it manipulates the paper. But honestly, whatever way is quickest will work best. So I typically think that this is the easiest way because I like to work with my hands, but I think that there's a cleaner option if you use a gift card or ruler. Honestly, I don't think that these flowers will be something that you see up close, so it really is up to you. But as you can see, as I'm talking, this can be done really quickly if I focused. And so just doing it that way makes really easy folds. And then you just layer them. So this is my last petal. I'll do this one really quickly. But I'm loving this flower because the theme for a lot of my decorations this year is poinsettias. I've also heard it called poinsettias. Whichever way you say it. This is the theme I have for this year. I typically gravitate towards neutrals. But this year I am doing a lot of red, pink and white. That is my color palette for this year because it's bright and cheery, and I think we all need a little bit of bright and cheery after the year that we've had. So similarly with this petal, instead of folding it, I like that little slight curl. So I just take my bone folder. You can use a butter knife or any sort of glue stick, pen. I have a glue stick here, so you could just use that to give it a slight curl. I typically like using this. Because it's just my favorite way to manipulate the paper. Just give it a nice little curl. I feel like it's very comfortable in my hands, so this is something that I usually go towards. But any tool that can give you that slight curl works best. So then this, it looks more like a star. So it has more just a subtle look to it, and I think I like this one best. But this does remind me more of a poinsettia. So I'll go ahead and just curl these really quickly. Okay, so now that I have everything curled, obviously gluing is the easiest part in this flower. Add a little bit of glue to the center and then offset the petals. So what I mean by that is because the petals are here, I like to put one right in the middle. So I offset it by one, or sort of just turned it. And this one I'll do the same. I'll add a little bit of glue and then I'll turn it so that it's actually in line with that very first layer that I had. But because there is a fold here and we've added a little bit of dimension, it doesn't just sit right on top of that petal layer, so you can still see apart that first layer and this one that we just added. Same thing with this one here. So just like that, these flowers are done. So you can add a number of them to any project, I think. And for poinsettias, I feel like the biggest part, the thing that makes a statement, is the flower center. And sometimes it's so hard to get it right. I have this one here that I've made out of paper, and it's basically just this cut file here that I've made with, I call them stamens. I don't know if they're called stamens, but it's just a circle piece with sort of a skinny rectangle, and I've welded it together to create this shape. And so basically all you need to do is just give that a little bit of curl. You can use some sort of curling mat and like a curling tool. I just like to use, again, my bone folder because it's probably the quickest way that I can give a curl to these petals. So I have, whoops, I guess that one's gone. I think I'm doing this a little too fast. So basically just giving that a little bit of curl, and I wanted to add 3, but you can add as many as you like. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of glue and stack them directly on top of each other. I do want to offset it just a little bit. And then a little bit of glue. And then from here, I like to push up from where that circle is, and then I create a center just by pushing everything together and then also pushing it down. And then adding that to the center. So it may take a little bit more depending on how you like it. I think this gold should be a little bit brighter for poinsettias, but this is the gold that I had on hand. It's gold shimmer cardstock. But as I was saying, the biggest thing about poinsettias is that bright gold center or any other color that you're using. So one thing you can use is what they call, or what I purchased was a vase filler. And I'm going to grab the bag. So it is a huge bag here, and it's filling everywhere. They called it a vase filler. Let me see if that could just sit right there for a second. So I got this from Hobby Lobby. It's from the Christmas shop. They called it a bowl and vase filler. Essentially, what it is it's like a foam, tiny foam ball, and it has glitter and sort of like hexagonal glitter or sequins on it. So it's very fancy as it is. It's super light. You can barely feel it. Again, it's sort of like foam balls. What I like about these is that they're a complete circle, so generally what you could use is beads. So if you have beads on hand, whether they're wooden beads or plastic beads, what you can do, if they're not already the color that you want them to be, you could just spray paint it. So in this case, you could spray paint it gold and add glitter. But this is the easiest thing to do because they are already in the shape that you want, which is like a circle. It doesn't have any of the holes to string like a bead would. And I did buy these for $2.50, so I think Hobby Lobby has their 50% off Christmas sale, and this is part of it. You get this entire huge bag with these falling everywhere. You get this entire bag for about $2.50 plus tax, and I think you can make a ton of flowers with them, since generally you can use as many as you like, but generally 3 of these little foam balls go right in the center. So there are a couple sizes. There's this one, which is the largest size. I think there is a mid size in between, but I think I would have to go through this entire bag to find it. Either way, I think there are at least 2 sizes. There might be 3 sizes. So you get this entire bag for $2.50, and you can make all the poinsettias that you want. So I think that was a great deal, and it adds such a nice touch to your flowers, because sometimes paper flowers can look flat, even though we are trying to make them look 3D, you know, give that dimension and make it look nice. This just adds or ramps up that sort of, you know, ooh and ah appeal to it. So one of my favorite ways that I have been adding a flower center is actually adding bells to it. So these are mini bells. I actually will be showing this in the next video that I have. It's already recorded, but it's a project that I use these poinsettias for, and it was a Christmas countdown calendar. But I added bells to the center of it because this is actually, it has a clothespin on the back of it. So generally for a countdown calendar, I'm trying to explain it in a way that I don't sound ridiculous, but I have a clothespin on the back of this so that as each day in December passes, or whatever day that it is, you add a flower to this calendar. So these will be sitting in a basket, and as like December 1st, December 2nd comes, a flower will be added to this calendar that I created, and as you pick up the poinsettia, you can shake it a little bit. It kind of gives a little bell sound. I don't know, it sounds very festive, and so it was something that I thought was cute, and I wanted to have that like bright eye-catching center, so I added bells. So that's one thing you can do if you're using poinsettias in a way that is going to be tactile, like you're going to pick it up, you're going to manipulate it, rather than on a wall. So this might be fun if you're putting it on gifts, so as someone shakes that gift to see what it is, you have that bell. Again, you can also use beads. You can just make a flower center out of paper. But so anyway, my favorite flower center, besides the bells, because the bells are just so fun, besides the bell is definitely these vase fillers. I'm not sure if they're called vase fillers everywhere. I have seen it in different types of packaging, and I will try to leave links below to both where I got this specific item and other items, so whatever craft store you have. It might be in a kids craft section if you're looking for something similar, and they may have bigger ones or smaller, I'm not sure. But at least for Hobby Lobby, I do know that they have different colors, and so if actually your colors are red and silver, I do know they have a silver version and they have red, and so they may have other colors as well. I think there's a blue. Whatever the case, that might be something to look for. I'm going to leave links to whatever I can find down below in the description box, but again, my favorite way, because this is just so easy. So this is just perfect. It's inexpensive, and I just think that it makes your flowers just that much more special. So from here, I think it's self-explanatory, but you could just add a little bit of glue and then just add them to the center. I like that they're so light because I just think that it just makes it easier for all your projects if some of the things you're adding to are lighter. I have used heavier things in the center, especially like foam core balls. They're not heavy by any means, but they can be bulky. So just like that, you have your flower, and that's just perfect. So I've made a ton of them for my projects here at home in this color palette specifically. Okay, so something I want to talk quickly about, and I'll just mention this as quickly as I could. I have opened an Etsy shop, so I've had my channel for 3 years, and I've been selling templates through email because I really enjoy the personal communication, and I still do. I just think Etsy shop is the way that I should go. I mean, after all these years, I know that paper flowers isn't as trendy as it once was, but my Etsy shop is open and I have linked it down below. This new poinsettia template is listed there right now, and I have it for 50% off. All templates will eventually make their way into my Etsy shop, and so I'm going to be offering 50% off all my templates through my Etsy shop for the next few months while I get that all in order. If you're interested in this template, I will have that available. What comes with the purchase is that there is an SVG, PNG, DXF, and then the silhouette cut file, as well as a PDF for the petals. And so there's a file for the petal shape, as well as the flower center that I use here, and this leaf shape that I have included. Go ahead and read the listing. Let me know if you have any questions. I still like to sell things via email, or if you want to just shoot me an email. I'm not lonely, but I really enjoy that communication. But my Etsy shop is open. I'm scared. I don't know why I was so scared about it, but I was so nervous because I generally don't like to promote myself, but I did want to make note that my Etsy shop is open. If you are interested in other templates, unfortunately, if it's not available in my Etsy shop, then you will have to email me, at least for now. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching this video. I actually ended up talking way more than I thought I would. I hope that you're making something special for your holiday season, whether you're using my templates or you're just using one that you have, so one you've purchased from somebody else. Either way, 2020 has been a hard year. I hope that this inspires you to add just a little bit to your decor just to cheer up the place. And let me know if you have any questions down below, and happy holidays.